The following production is part of the Play Some Video Games podcast network.
Hello, one and all, and welcome to this week's edition of Play Some Video Games, the flagship show of the PSVG podcast network and the only gaming podcast to be mysteriously pulled from multiple fighting game events. It is I, your host, Kevin, and with me this week is Mr. Playing Nintendo himself, Donnie, man. How are you?
Greetings, Kooplings. What's up, brother Kev?
I am hanging in there, man. I'm doing better than you. I understand you're under a bit of water right now.
You know what? Thankful for sump pumps. Remember that pump I put in last year?
Yes, I do.
Kept my basement nice and dry. My yard, however, not so dry, but yep. Lots of flooding here in the ATL today, but rain stopped a few hours ago, so waters are starting to go back down, and we look forward to more rain coming tomorrow. How are you doing down in Florida, Coach?
Spoilers,
I'm here. I'm doing really well. I sat in the pool all day, and yeah.
So you were wet too?
Yeah, but on purpose.
Man, see, Donnie introduced you ahead of time, and I had a good cheese analogy for you and everything. I'm let down.
Screwed it up.
Is there such thing as a good cheese analogy?
I was trying to change it up and make it different.
No, here. I'm gonna do it anyway. Coach Cheese, and why do I say that? Because cheddar makes everything better. Coach Mo, how you doing, man?
Respect. I'm good, my dude. I spent the whole day in the pool, hanging out, watching a little football because they had all the bowl games on today that didn't matter.
Yep.
And the good bowl games are on tomorrow. Let's go.
There you go. Football all weekend. And also with us, from the depths of the galaxy, the Emperor himself, Nathan. It's been a while, man. How are you?
Oh, it has been a while, but, I've just been reading up on some of the interesting developments out there in the world of, PlayStation. So, just reading up, catching up on good reads. This thing is huge, by the way. Been pretty good. I've been away from this show for a little while, and it's good to be back on here and talking with you fellas tonight.
Yes. It's been busy, so that's kind of what always gets in the way sometimes, I think, of things. But anyway, before we dive into the main parts of the show, we do need to stop for a moment and thank the amazing Patreon producers we have over there at patreon.com/PSVG. We do have the first episode of the PSVG DLC dropping for those who are members, so if you want to get in on that action, take a look at that website over there for more details. It's bound to be shenanigans galore. Donnie's got some plans going on over there. Probably
absolutely no plans.
A bunch of drinking. Well, you're planning on drinking.
Yes, we plan on drinking. That'll be fun. We have some never have I ever's that we're gonna do, but outside of that, I really don't know where we're gonna take this. I'm trying real hard not to delve into OT territory, but I feel like it's gonna find its way there. Maybe, I don't know. We'll see.
OT does not hold ownership to telling stories. We encourage it. Tell more stories. Make fun of short people. That kind of stuff.
Fair enough. But speaking of those producers, we do have to thank some very special ones, especially Coach Mo.
That's me.
Edwin Callow, Devin Tyus, myself, I guess. Chris M., Kyle Hyman, Joel Voss, a.k.a. Professor Switch, and then the Bonesaw himself, Josh Barboni. So thank you for your support. And if you'd like to check that out as well, toss us a buck or two. The holidays just passed by. Grandma maybe gave you a little bit of extra money. And, if you feel so kind to throw a buck or two our way, head on over to patreon.com/PSVG and see what you can do. You support not only this show, but all the millions and millions of podcasts that are available on the PSVG podcast network. But guys, we're here to talk about video games tonight. So let's catch everybody up on what we've been playing. And let's start with Nathan. He's doing some recognizance over in the PlayStation realm. Maybe you have something to talk about there.
So, as I said, I have been doing some reconnaissance over in the PlayStation realm. Back on Black Friday, I got a PSVR. They had the bundle for $250 with Creed and Super Hot. So I picked that up. I have not played Creed or Super Hot yet, but I played a little bit of some other stuff. The Star Wars Battlefront had a VR mode that they put out, so obviously that was high on my list to try.
Sure.
And then they also put out a VR partition on GT Sport. So I checked that out from the library and downloaded the VR mode, and that was okay. I think I got some sort of sickness from that one for sure, because like the older ones, it was there's something about the older ones, especially like that first year of PSVR that I was playing, and I would get hot. I would get like sweaty. Super hot. And sweaty and just kind of like nauseous. And I was playing the Xbox mission. It was the last one I played of the day. I was doing some demo disc stuff. And then, I also tried something else that I downloaded, the Spider-Man VR, experience. And the last thing I did was the Star Wars thing. And I was about halfway through, which it's about, I think 15 minutes long. And I was halfway through it and I just had to like stop. Had to stop, take it off, cool down, go get a glass of water. Like it was weird. But I'm slowly becoming more like okay with it. I haven't done anything for the past couple days because the last time I did it again for a longer period of time and did some more demo disc stuff, which there's some pretty cool stuff. Like Moss is really cool. And there's a lot of good stuff on demo disc number 2 that I'm impressed by right now that I might actually pick up on a sale. But I noticed the next day, or no, it was actually that night, my eyes were just kind of weird. So it'd been, a few hours since I had last played on the VR, and I was just like in this auditorium trying to focus, and I just had some, like, maybe it was the artificial light paired with just like some wear on the eyes that's not used to. So I'm not sure ultimately if VR is going to be quote unquote for me. But I'm enjoying what I'm checking out so far. And again, this is my first time really kind of diving into VR. And I thought the point of entry was right there where I thought it needed to be. I do want to play Beat Saber. I've been trying to wait for a sale for that. But it doesn't seem to be on any of the sale lists at this point.
Yeah.
I do know that it's I've been told that's well worth the full price.
It is.
And I may succumb eventually, but I'm not like needing to at this point. I got so much other stuff to play. I've been trying to hold back on buying full price stuff if I don't intend to play it like right then. But I really, really do want to play Beat Saber. That's on my short list. But yeah, other than that, since the last time I played, the last time I was on, I think I've beaten, what's it called? Red Dead Redemption 2. I beat that. We had our community game night. Donnie and I played some Ghost Recon Wildlands with some other members out there. Some other members out there, including our own Coach Hulk. Actually, I think it was just us 3.
Yeah, it really wasn't much of a community game night. Now, to our credit, we didn't really market it much. If you weren't a part of the Discord, you probably had no idea that we were doing it because it was all
that's true.
With Christmas and the holidays and the Patreon and everything we've committed to, we've been kind of like running and gunning. Like, I think we're just now starting to like get into the loop of all the things that we're doing.
Yeah. But I did have fun. Obviously, Donnie, I think it was your first time playing it, and then Mo and I had played it before, so it was kind of good to get back into that and play some more of that. I did play some more Forza Horizon 4, the Treasure Island expansion, or whatever they call it, Fortune Island. Treasure Island is like an old TV show, right? But the expansion there is actually pretty cool. I like the Northern Lights kind of Aurora Borealis stuff that they do. It looks really pretty. Instead of barn finds, they have these treasures that you can find across the map. So it's a lot of cool stuff. I really had a lot of time recently to just kind of sit down and experiment though. And most of my time has been on the PlayStation, kind of acclimating to that, trying out PSVR and having to uninstall some stuff from my PlayStation so I could actually install some of this VR stuff. And then, the other thing I've been playing a lot of is Smash Brothers. So obviously Super Smash Brothers Ultimate came out, and I don't know if you guys know this, but I'm a huge Super Smash Brothers fan. Even though Nintendo's not necessarily my jam, Smash Brothers is. If there's anything I think of when I think of Nintendo that harkens back to my childhood and my memories and, just good times, it's always been Smash Brothers on 64 and GameCube. Yeah, even on the Wii and then the Wii U. But Ultimate is by far probably the best incarnation of Smash Brothers I've played. I know that there have been numerous episodes of our podcast already talking about it, so I'm not going to belabor the point, but I do really enjoy it. I had a lot of fun unlocking all the characters. I spent way too much time playing the game in the short amount of time that I had it to unlock all the characters because I enjoyed that hunt. And it's no surprise to me, just because this is the way my luck is. The character I wanted to play as the most was the last character I unlocked.
Who was it?
Cloud.
That sucks. Cloud was 60 for me too.
Yeah, I mean he must be like RNG high or something like that. But I really do enjoy that game. I like playing it a lot. Played against Jason a few times and lost, obviously. But I like playing that game just so much. I've been playing the Switch. I've been playing the PlayStation. I've been playing the Xbox. I feel well rounded right now as far as that goes. But it's been a lot of good experiences lately. So I've enjoyed my gaming time for sure. Oh, and you don't care about this, I'm sure, but I've seen a lot of movies too. But we can talk about that later.
I believe we have another show for that.
I do actually. There's an episode.
There is.
Out.
It's a little fishy if you ask me, but so I guess I'll jump in next too. So I will say I did almost pull the trigger today actually on PSVR. That I was like, as I held off. I resisted that there. But as you guys can tell, and I posted in our Discord as well, I did get an upgraded podcast set up now. So I have the giant mechanical arm thing. So I'm all set up. I have new headphones, Astros, which are awesome, and I can actually hear games and stuff better now. Actually don't mind podcasting with double ears for the first time today. I normally have one ear out so I can hear better, but this is making a world of difference for me there. But the other interesting story that happened to me was so my cousin, she was pregnant with their second child, and she had served in the military previously, her and her husband, so they were actually away from the entire family for like years. Their firstborn was actually born in South Korea. Yeah, South Korea, the good Korea. So, she was alone when she had to go through that experience and that. So they moved back and they actually live in outside of Boston right now. So they were in the need of having something to do with their firstborn child when they had to go to the hospital to have the second child, obviously. Her father is traveling across country in an RV with his wife. And they were only coming back for Christmas, so they weren't back yet. And not really anybody else in my family. I have a small family on my side of the family. And none of them were really equipped to take on a 2-year-old, as well as myself, because my wife watches kids all day and I have, 3 of my own. So we were ready to do it. So we took on that task. So we had her for a few days, which was an interesting experience having a house with 4 kids, in it 24/7 for a few days. It was cool. But anyway, everything went well. They had the child. That's all good. And I got a package in the mail yesterday, completely unexpected. And it was an envelope in a package. So I opened the envelope first. It was a padded Amazon envelope. And I was like, what did I order? I didn't order this many things. I only ordered one thing, and that came in. And it was an Amazon gift card. I was like, oh, that's weird. And I was like, did I screw something up? Did I order something? And then I saw the gift note that's on the inside saying, thank you so much, Kevin, for you and Laura, what you guys did. This little thank you. I hope you enjoyed this gift card and this controller. So like controller, that's kind of weird. I don't know what she's talking about. I was like, there's only a card in here. So I was like, whatever. So I opened the third box thinking it was something that we ordered for my youngest daughter because she got some gift card and she wanted new bath toys. So I thought it was one of those, and I opened it up and it was an Xbox Elite controller.
Hallelujah.
Yeah. I was like, what? So I immediately text her right away saying, you're out of your mind. You're nuts. This is completely unnecessary. And, yada, yada, yada. And then at the end, I said, thank you. This is something I would never have bought for myself, but oh my God, does this thing feel good in your hands? Like, oh man, the build construction is perfect. It's probably already up there, if not my favorite controller of all time. It's definitely up in the top 3 for sure. I'm getting used to the whole paddles and how to program those to my liking and finding out what works for me. But man, it is a game changer for sure, which is awesome. But as far as what I've been playing, so I did boot up Hellblade: Senua's Sacrifice on Xbox Game Pass. I know that game's been talked about a lot, so I'm not going to talk about it too much. But for those of you who don't know, it's very much God of War like, and I only want to say that because of the mythology. It is slower paced, like the newer God of War is. But the big thing that they all talk about is, hey, you have to play this game with headphones on because the sound engineering is incredible, which I will say definitely is. But what this game takes advantage of is the voices in Senua's head. She obviously has some bipolar schizophrenia, whatever's going on. So there's just nonstop talking going on in her head unless you're focusing in on something. It is a really cool dynamic. But I will say if you play for like more than 20 minutes, for me at least, and this is Kevin Hates Everything, get ready for you. It gets real old real fast. The appeal does not stick with me. I find it rather annoying after a while, which might be the point. It's meant to, throw you off guard. It doesn't throw me off kilter. It doesn't make me lose my focus. It's annoying because they're just repeating the same stuff. And the one other criticism I have for it so far, I'm going to play this game through for sure. I just beaten the first god, I guess you could say. It's very much a puzzle game masqueraded as an action game. meaning that the combat is there. It is very few and far between, and it's very much just timed button presses. There's not much strategy or anything going on with it, so it's a little game looks great, and I totally appreciate what they're doing, but I think it might have been slightly overhyped for me so far.
How much did you play?
I'm at least 2.5 hours in.
Okay.
So I'm waiting to see if something's, like I said, I'm sticking to it. I'm having enough fun that I'm willing to do it, and I'm going to play through it. Like, I don't hate the game, but I think it's just one of those situations where everyone's like, this is amazing, and it's good. I don't see it being amazing, but it's good. I am playing the Katamari Damacy reroll on the Switch. Just having fun with that. Of course, that's not unexpected for me because I love the game anyway. So coming to the Switch is just a nice little port. Mechanics work a little bit better than they did in PS2. Graphically, mild upgrades there, but obviously there's no load times or anything like that. So it's a sweet change of pace there. And that soundtrack is the best soundtrack in video gaming, period. Enough said. And then the other thing I just want to bring up real quick is I did get my wife the 2-pack of Jeopardy and Wheel of Fortune for Switch because we play Jeopardy every night on Amazon Alexa. Before we go to bed, we're lying in bed. We're like, Amazon, play Jeopardy. And we play it. So I was like, this would be a great little gift. It's actually a lot of fun. There are modes that you can play with families that make it a lot easier if you're playing with kids, where instead of being like, hey, you got to buzz in and give an answer, it'll give you multiple choice. So it can narrow things down and make it a lot easier for kids especially. Or you can play the classic traditional manner as well. And then Wheel of Fortune is a solid port there too. You know, like I said, nothing to call home about. And it's a little weird. They don't have Alex Trebek or Pat Sajak and Vanna White. It's all like generic hosts instead and voiceovers. So it's a little disappointing, but it does have online multiplayer, which is a lot of fun. So you can actually play with friends that have the game as well. So I know my sister-in-law and her boyfriend, her husband are going to get it. And we're going to play online Jeopardy and Wheel of Fortune. So that's a lot of fun.
It'd be cool if it like used your me and let you kind of host.
Yeah. In Wheel of Fortune, you actually get to customize your character, and the more you play, you unlock different shirts and stuff like that. So it gives you some level of it. But yeah, it's just very much 4 different models, and you can kind of skin the models and have different clothes and hair and stuff like that. So there's some customization there. It's
somewhat interesting you brought this up because I have been cleaning house with my family playing Jeopardy over the past week. We've been watching it on Netflix.
Oh, okay.
The shows of like, I'm not sure if anybody's known, but they put up these, shows of the century and these tournaments on Netflix. You can just go back and watch. And I used to play Jeopardy with my mom, like watch it with the show. And my kids are just like, dang, Dad. Because I'd start clearing categories, like anything, rock music or, movie trivia, this stuff that we would, dorks would know. I did some science elements that I still remember from high school that I was like, felt really smart about. I was like, see, Dad's smart. But yeah, we've actually been playing it. So you bringing it up and actually recommending it might mean that I might purchase it because the kids were really into it. They liked the Jeopardy. They thought it was fun. Yeah,
I think I got it was either $30 or $40 when I got it too, so it wasn't a bad deal either. And it's both games together for that price. No, it's physical. It might be able to, because I think digital you can buy them individually. You don't have to buy the 2-pack. So you might be able to get it cheaper if you're just interested in Jeopardy. But yeah, it's not anything, groundbreaking like that, but it's it's a solid port, and it's good for family multiplayer gameplay. So it's all good. That's it for me. So Coach, what have you been playing, sir?
A lot of Madden, a lot of FIFA, a little bit of 2K. I've been playing a lot of the Borderlands VR, just cause I love Borderlands. So you put me in that world. Might be the prettiest VR game I've been in, only because there is not a spot you turn your head that is not part of that world. Like there's no screen cutoff like they did in Valkyrie. There's no, you can only see 3/4. No. Literally, if I turn in a complete 360, the whole map is present in Borderlands. It's gorgeous. The movement is a little disjarring if you didn't read up on it first. I did, so I came in ready. Basically, when you flick the controller through that left thumbstick, that is you're turning a quarter. So you go from north to east, or you know what I mean? So that makes it much easier. You're a little slower, but it's great. I keep trying to tell Nader Todd over here, you had to pick up Moss. Moss is one of the best games on the PSVR. It right now is probably my favorite game that came out on the PlayStation this last year.
Dude, I played the demo, but that snake is freaking me out.
That's so I really loved Moss. And then Creed I absolutely adore. So you have to play that one. I think I'm up to 20-1 now, playing the online on that. I really love the online for Creed.
Have you played Raw Data?
No, I have not.
So Raw Data is on the demo disc. I was trying to remember the name of it. It's on demo disc 2. It's a free download. You can download it. That's the game that I was like really surprised I liked a lot. It's It kind of reminds me of what you said there with the VR game, Battlegrounds, whatever it was called. What's it called?
Borderlands?
Borderlands, yes, please, thank you.
PUBG and VR?
Yeah, right. Where you're like moving around just a little bit there. The description of the mechanics there kind of match what that raw data is in my mind. So check that out. You might like it because I really enjoyed that. And I think it's on sale right now, so I think I'm going to pick that one up.
But yeah, other than that, I played a little bit of Switch. There was an argument in my house, and she's sitting in the other room, so I'm going to say this loud enough for her to hear. But evidently, Mario Brothers is an actually difficult game, and not any Nimbusol can jump in and get all the moons on the first 3 levels without trying. She didn't respond. So we just got into it because I was like, it's a platformer. Platformers are not difficult, guys. Like, everybody can jump. It's not rocket science. And so I'm actually having a hard time finding one of these moons, and it's leading to her looking very right, because in the sand world, there's one I can't find. And I'm assuming it's one of those you have to go unlock a certain hat to be able to go get it.
Probably.
But I don't have the energy to do it. So, but that's been about it. A lot of Madden. Dan drafted The Rock. And so
I saw your tweet.
Yeah, so I tweeted him today, and I'm really hoping that he can just send a comment and say, you know what, Dan, trade him The Rock. I was just mad, but we're on year 7 in that league. And our draft class this year is 1969 through 1974 Hall of Famers. So a certain running back was drafted in 75, so I won't be able to get Walter Payton. But Mr. Alan Page, the defensive tackle for the Chicago Bears back in the day, is available. And so I'm really jacked about the old school drafts we're adding, because we've already done baseball and professional wrestlers, and we did all the drafts from 19, 20, and 21. I drafted Tua, and he has become an absolute monster in that game. We're talking, he's a 99 already, guys, and lived in the league 3 years for us. Just slings it around. I love being a left-handed quarterback. I feel like the playbook opens up more for a lefty than it does a righty. That's just me. So yeah, that's really been it. I'm on break, so for the next 2 weeks, I'm doing literally nothing but hanging out and relaxing in the pool.
Nice.
Hey, when are you going to be doing the draft class of podcasters?
As I don't know if I could make a draft class of podcasters that would go more than 1 round deep. I don't know. I don't know if that's a thing. I am working on an NBA one. What me and Dan take Madden a little more serious than most people, so we weren't going to just do some half-baked draft class. So I'm taking the updated stats from NBA 2K, and I'm moving them over one by one and importing them over onto a Madden draft class, and then I'm assigning in positions based off that. And so, the fastest guy on 2K is going to be our fastest guy in that draft. We are going to have to do a little mixing around. Some of these centers are going to end up being left tackles, and we are going to have to slow them down a little bit. But I'm really jacked. That's been really fun, just kind of time consuming, but good.
Cool, man.
That's it for
Donnie,
me.
sir, you're last, but certainly not least.
Surely we can get 3 or 4 rounds of podcasters just between all of us indie folks, and then you throw the IGNs and the GameSpots of the world, and you even branch out into like the Adam Carollas of the world. Like, come on, we can make this happen.
I will never ever add a GameSpot to that.
Adam Carolla played football.
No,
yeah,
never add a
He
GameSpot.
played football. He's a DB.
Uh-huh.
Only high school though. He's went straight from high school to the pros. Like,
I could do IGN and do PSVG, so that gets us 14 people.
no,
We're like 14 people.
Yeah, that's like 28 people. It's like twice that.
So we're 13.
So outside of the stuff that they talked about, I too have been delving into the PSVR. I'll start there. I've been playing a lot of the same things Nathan has. I was actually kind of on the fence for a while there. PSVR is not really grabbing me. I love Beat Saber. I really do. My whole family's having a lot of fun with it. But I also kind of see what it is. Like, without the inclusion of licensed tracks, it has limited appeal. Also, it doesn't have a whole lot of tracks. So it kind of lessens its appeal even more. I mean, if I'm comparing it to other rhythm games, as I think it should be, like to the Guitar Heroes and the Rock Bands of the world, like, it just doesn't have a whole lot that I keep wanting to do. Now, it is really hard. And if you're a score chaser, like, this game would pulverize Jason Lacey's time, because you see where you rank on the leaderboards with your friends. And if you're one of those people that has to beat everybody, there's a lot to do, because it gets really hard pretty quick. Very challenging, like even on normal. I have never tried it on like extra hard, but even on normal, it's pretty difficult. So I imagine there's a lot there for that type of game player, which is good. It's good. And they've got more tracks coming. And I'm kind of hoping that any limited success like lends it to somebody getting in a music license. Like I'm kind of hoping that Sony steps in and they go, all right, you can use Sony music, licenses and get some songs in here. Or Harmonix comes over and goes, we'd like to snatch you up and we'll just redo this and we'll do it with, our licenses. Like something's got to give there in my mind, because it's just a lot of techno trance stuff, which is good. Like it fits the game because everything's just kind of like thumping around you, like it fits the thing. I don't know about you guys. And I feel like, like I often do. I'm sure all of my comments will offend somebody at some point, but I just can't play an hour worth of, trance. Like after 60 minutes of that straight, it's just like, I gotta, it's just not my thing, and it's just not my thing. So
yeah, that one in Super Hot made me nauseous within like seconds of playing it.
Oh, the only thing that's made me nauseous so far was Paranormal Activity, which is a little sad because it was one of the ones I was most looking forward to. And, Bo, to at least fill you there, that game made me so nauseous. Not like kind of nauseous, not like morning, I ate before I went to bed nauseous. It made me like, I need to go lean over the toilet nauseous, that I just took it back. Like I felt really sick after about an hour with Paranormal Activity. Now, luckily for me, that's the only game that's done it so far. Like Nathan, I've played a lot of the demos. I've went through a lot of the games. There's some that I like. Tetris is great. Tetris is great without VR. Tetris is cool with VR. I don't think it changes Tetris. I wouldn't go that far. I just think it's neat. I think it's a neat way to play Tetris. It definitely kind of, you get lost in it. I like having the headphones, but like just kind of having the blinders on, not seeing anything else in your environment, just kind of lends to focusing on Tetris, which is neat. And that's kind of what I would call it. I would call it neat. It's not changing the way you play Tetris. It's really not enhancing the gameplay at all. In my mind, it just lets you kind of focus on Tetris without any distractions. And, it's got like particle effects that kind of flow in front of the game board, which is cool. It's neat. Is it $200 headset neat? I don't think so. No. But it's cool. So it's this interesting thing where I'm not really feeling PSVR as like an investment, like I really don't know what the roadmap is. I've taken a look, like the only thing that really on my to-do list VR wise is golf. And I didn't particularly like everybody's golf. And I'm kind of afraid I'm gonna have to rebuy it for some reason. Sure. It really seems like this is a separate game. And for whatever reason, I don't feel like everybody's golf is going to get me in at a cheaper rate or anything like that. So there's a part of that I'm looking forward to. So I'm not really feeling VR. I'm like, I tried it. I tried a lot of the cool games. This really isn't doing it for me. Like nothing has got me like, this is why you have VR. This is the experience that you get that is just so awesome. The headset is worth having. That's the thing I've been searching for. Something that like takes me out of my living room and puts me in a game. Something that really makes me, become surrounded, invested into this world. But I found it. I found it last night when I sat down and I booted up Moss for the first time.
Yes.
I'm so into Moss. Moss is incredible. It's Zelda. It's Fable. It's got all of this stuff that I love about video games into it. The only thing that I wish wasn't in Moss was that I wish I didn't have to turn the individual pages of the story as they were read to me, because it just feels really slow. But outside of that, like the actual gameplay, it's from this like fixed perspective. So again, your eyes are the camera, and it's kind of like playing, I don't want to go as far as saying like a board game, because that would just give people the wrong impression, but it's like you're playing a game with like figures, like when you were a kid, right? Let's say you have an action figure and you're playing on a table in front of you. Playing Moss is kind of like that. Like you have this table in front of you, this puzzle, this thing you have to do, and you control this mouse character. He's got a sword and he cuts grass, a la Zelda. It's got this beautiful music and it's got this awesome, looks really good. That's another thing that Kyle helped me with, is he showed us how to do like the PSVR eye readings. You guys know I obviously have glasses, and I have a prescription. So when he actually I didn't even know that was a thing, by the way. If you go into the VR settings, you can actually like walk through it and pinpoint the center of your eyes to make the image sharper. Yeah. He's been telling me this whole time about the screen door effect that I was just chalking up to why the picture was so blurry. But after he showed us how to do this, I was like, I actually know my, what is it called? Pulmonary distance, because I have glasses. It's on my prescription card. And I was like, wait a minute, I already know these. So I went in there and plugged in the numbers, totally sharpened the image to the point where I could totally see the screen door effect he was talking about. It looks like there's a screen kind of in front of the screen. I was like, oh, that's what he's talking about. I was just saying that I thought that was the excuse for a blurry image. So between those two and the fact that I finally found this game that I got really invested into, I'm really, really liking it. So Moss is kind of like that. I would call Moss the killer app. And it's just a little shame that I've played Creed, I played Beat Saber, played Tetris, I played Farpoint. I think I've done everything except for like Resident Evil 7. Kind of like Nathan, I've been snatching up anything VR on sale for the last month. I haven't done Borderlands yet.
Oh, good.
Because I played Borderlands, I don't necessarily want to rebuy Borderlands. But I believe you. I mean, Borderlands is always great. Borderlands great whenever.
The only mistake they made is you can't beat Krieg, the Psycho. I've never loved a character more than I loved Krieg in that game. You guys know what I'm talking about?
Why not?
Why? I don't know. They only gave you the main 4. They didn't give you the DLC characters.
Oh, okay.
But if you guys, if anyone's ever watched, the greatest thing
It feels like a
Gearbox has ever done is the Krieg trailer to where they launch him, and he's got like his head. He has like this like really fancy suave guy like trying to find out about life, and then on the outside he's like, "I eat fart munchkins," and I die every time. That's one of my favorite videos ever. I love it. So I wish you could be Krieg, but you can't. But
supposedly Firewall is supposed to be one of those killer app type games on PSVR.
Is that the one that's coming out?
No, it's already out. It comes with a little the extra
Gun?
Controller. Like it's $80 for like the pack.
Oh, Farpoint.
Farpoint? Is that what it is? Okay.
Yeah, I got Farpoint.
Did you not like that?
It's okay. It's like a shooter. It's a little barren. Maybe I just haven't played it enough. But it's okay.
It stays about the same the whole time.
So I'm not like alone in that.
No,
thing.
you're not.
Okay, it's like a little barren. It's not like shooter. It's not like Doom shooter. It's just kind of like a shooter. You walk around and shoot stuff. I would saw like, I mean, this is going to be a huge disturbance because they're not really comparable. But when I say barren, I'm talking like, Kevin, to give you an idea, it's kind of like Moon Chronicles, like on 3DS.
Oh God. Yeah.
It's not like bad, but you walk around a lot.
Yeah.
And then you see some dudes and you shoot the dudes and you walk around some more. It's just not like engrossing. I was looking for that, man, give me a video game. Like you see VR and it's like, I should feel like I'm transported to another world.
Sure. Yeah.
That's what I'm looking for. And no matter how awesome Tetris is, Tetris ain't going to do that. It's Tetris. Like it's a game board. It's in front of you. I'm sorry. I feel like I'm probably making Kyle angry. That's, as I say things, I feel it in the back of my mind.
That's a hard feat to do too.
But, it's just, I'm just trying to be honest with my own feelings, but Moss did it. I am so into Moss. I played it. The moment I played it, I was upset that I had to stop to Shaq, and then I played it right after Shaq. Like, I was like, I gotta go put this headset back on and keep playing it, and I'm gonna play it like all day tomorrow. Like, I am into Moss, and I've got hopes for Beat Saber. So the weird thing is, I looked up how much I could sell it for. Like, I've already went that far. Like, I was already like looking up, like, all right, how much money can I get back out of this? Because the roadmap isn't one that I feel particularly invested into. I'm like, I'm not gonna buy any of these games. I'm not even sure I'm gonna buy golf, and that's kind of half the reason why I even got it. Here's the problem that I have. Maybe you guys can help me. My daughter loves VR. It's like her favorite thing to do all of a sudden. She loves it so much. And when the family come over, that's all she wants to do. She had babysitter today and yesterday. That's all she wanted to show the babysitter. She is all in on VR. She loves Beat Saber. It's like her favorite game, obviously. We play Rock Band together all the time. She's in it. Like so much that I'm pretty sure if I sold it, she'd be upset with me. So I may just have to keep it. I don't know. I don't feel like.
I mean, if she's into it like that, I mean,
and I also got it really cheap. You guys know that.
Yeah. I mean,
also she's a tween, so give her 2 weeks and she'll stop caring.
She'll move on to something else.
Yep.
Right. If she's into it and continues to be into it, that's the thing, right? So let her get it out of her system now. If she's not into it, and you're not into it, then don't keep it. But if it seems to be one of those things that she's really taking on to, and that's kind of her entry point into this larger world of gaming, and maybe something later on down the road, I wouldn't take it away.
Yeah,
that's the thing is and to be honest with you, that's really kind of my issue. Isn't so much that I paid for it, because like I said, I didn't pay that much for it. I got mine for $160. That's what I got mine for, is a refurb model. So I'm not into it that much. It's pretty cheap. My issue is that there's no PSX, there's no E3. I don't know when do we expect Sony to take the stage or tell us things again? Like next year, this time, like next winter.
I mean, they do stuff in the drop. They announce VR games.
No, I know. So I know they announce things, but like I don't. So like Kyle shared with us like a 2019 upcoming PSVR game list, and there was like 12, 15 games in there. I'm not anticipating buying any of those. Maybe golf, but like all of them, I was like, I'm not like. If you're asking me, Donnie, are you going to pay $45 or more for any? No. So I'm going to get them all like next Black Friday. So to me, I'm like, I'm not going to play anything really, like a lot of anything, after like this next month. Like I'm going to finish Astrobot, which is great. Astrobot's fun. I'm enjoying Astrobot a lot too. That's really good. But like outside of Astrobot, Beat Saber, and Moss, there's not anything that we're really doing it for me. Like Creed's fun, but Creed's
let's
like
put it this way:
workout.
and none of these games prior to getting a PSVR were going to do anything for you either. So these were all kind of undiscovered gems for you. So I get where you're saying like, hey, this list of games isn't appealing to me, but you don't know yet because I'm sure Astrobot and Moss didn't appeal to you before until you actually had the opportunity to try it out. So, I mean, there might be things like that too that surprise you, but I would see if your daughter sticks with it, and if she's still interested in it, then keep it around. But if not, then flip it, because knowing how teenage and tween girls operate, give it a month or so and they'll move on to the next thing.
She's so into it. I was so happy that she spent so much time with it. She really, really likes it, which is good because it's good seeing her play video games again.
Mm-hmm.
But she got a phone for Christmas, and that's all she's been doing.
Sure.
And then that's all she's been doing in the last year is tableting. You know, like she's kind of moved away from video games. Yep. So seeing her playing them again is great. So I am having fun with it.
The other thing to think of too, Donnie, is that, you know, I have a PSVR now, you have a PSVR now. We both got them just recently here, and I don't think we're alone in that. I think there's a lot of people that now have PSVRs, true. And they've all of a sudden moved a ton more units. So developers are now going to be maybe making more VR things that haven't been announced. But also, you know, you look at these bigger tentpole games, a lot of them may now all of a sudden have a VR mode that you could check out and stuff too. So there's a few things, a lot of variables right now in play. And like you said, it is kind of, we have to wait a while before the next big press conference. But if PlayStation's got something to say, they're going to say it. They're not going to wait.
No. And I'm hoping that like there's, you know, and kind of just supporting what you guys are saying. I'm really hoping that there's like some indies out there that are going to come out with like some cheaper, neat, like cool experiences. I've definitely understood that. I think I like the platforming, the third person perspective in VR way more than like the first person, which is weird because you put on a VR headset, you almost feel like you're going to be first person. But you know, the Moss, like that stuff is really cool. The Astrobot, like that's neat. I think that's like my favorite so far of all the experiences that I've had. But anyway, my PS4 soapbox. The only other thing
you need to talk about this other one here. I want to hear your thoughts on Detroit, man, because I've been waiting for you to play this, and you've been waiting for me to send it to you. So
no spoilers yet.
So Kevin sent me Detroit, and I will be pushing it towards Devin's way. I would have mailed it today, but obviously today was the reign of 1,000 years, so I didn't get to the post office. Detroit was good. Detroit was cool. I enjoyed Detroit mostly. No spoilers, right, Nathan? No spoilers.
Don't spoil anything. Yeah,
really, it's such an old game.
Yeah, that you just played.
I'm just saying, like, I wouldn't be upset if someone.
Didn't it just come out in February or March?
It was a year ago.
No, that was this year.
It's almost a year.
But it's
I lived in a different state when it came out, man.
Yeah, that's right.
Okay, so I like Detroit. You remember when this game was announced and we were talking about it leading up to E3s and all that? David Cage is the maker, right? The Heavy Rain guy.
Yep.
I didn't like Heavy Rain. Heavy Rain, and the other one was Beyond
Two Souls.
Yeah, those controls are bad.
Mm-hmm.
I'm just going to tell you guys, all you folks that putting up with it, you can put up with it and you can acclimate to it, but they're bad. They're not good controls. They're bad controls. This one's better. Not great though. To say it's better, like they use the right stick for movement and selecting things, which is weird because sometimes you'll go to select things and you'll completely move away from it. And it's okay. It's a minor annoyance, I admit, but still it's like, why? Why not just use a different button? You use a button for everything else in the game because this is QuickTime Event Simulator. QuickTime events, everything. Everything you do is a QuickTime event. Just smash the X button, smash the Y button, smash the square button a lot, smash the X button, do a half circle with the right button. Like that's the gameplay. That's what you do. But the reason you do it is because the narrative and the story are good. That's the point, which I'm okay with. You know, not any different than like a Telltale or, a Life is Strange game, really. If you're bearing it down to mechanics like that, it's just a lot of it. It's a lot. Which is interesting. Because I wish like I feel like the movement is slowed and I wish I had like more freedom. I think I would have enjoyed the gameplay a little bit more if it was just a little bit more like I felt like I was in control of the character. But story wise is really good. I like the differing perspectives. I think that's good, but it's also, it's good, but it sets up a minor con in that it's cool that you see these different perspectives because sometimes they interweave between each other. And that's a neat storytelling aspect. Like we see that in movies. But it's also bad because I feel like, Kevin, you tell me if you feel differently. The two things I didn't like about this game most important is I definitely felt a narrative being pushed on me at times. There was definitely like you should feel bad about this. And I really didn't. And I kind of felt like the game was trying to like force me into a decision that I didn't want to make. And I didn't make it, but I was just kind of like, come on. Like the branching paths are really like, that's the win of this game. When you see just how different you can make this game. I didn't play it more. I just played it the one time. I'm not going to go back and play it. But even in my one time, I saw 3, 4, sometimes 5 different ways an entire chapter could have ended. And not like ended where we all ended the same place like a Telltale game. Ended completely different. Could have changed the entire aspect of the entire game.
Yep.
That is cool. There are not many games that do that, and for that, it should be respected. But at least with the choices that I made, maybe it's just me and my choices, there were definitely times where I felt like, you should feel bad about this, or isn't this bad? You should fight the man, fight the power, something. I felt like politics were being pushed on me that I didn't necessarily want or agree with at times.
There's definitely an agenda and a message behind the game, so I understand what you're saying for that they're trying to make you feel a certain way. Yes. Did I feel bad about certain things in the game? Absolutely. But none of them were choices that I made in the game. They might have been results of things that happened or outside circumstances that made me feel bad. Absolutely. Especially in that first chapter is gut wrenching to me. No spoilers, but yeah, it's rough. But I think the narrative, the storytelling in this game and the way they did it is absolutely phenomenal. And I still stand by the fact that this is the best storytelling in a video game I've ever experienced in my life. So yeah, controls and stuff, I agree they're bad, but I think the storytelling is phenomenal.
I wouldn't say best. That maybe for you, yeah, but I wouldn't say it was the best. What I felt was they would have allowed me to speed up my character and be to places faster and to get through things quicker. I'm going to use, there was a scene where you end up cleaning up dishes. And for me, I literally sat there and I was trying to make every single thing spotless because that's how we are at home. Like, you do not go on to something else until you finish this task. And they made me leave dishes in there. I'm like, whoa, I'm not done. And I thought some of those things had issues. I loved the endings and the stories. I just thought that the gameplay being so slow hurt it. Now, I will say, as someone who's gone back and played all of the Telltale games on 2 different platforms, on the PC and on the Xbox, I've seen how bad those games can run. And that game was gorgeous through and through. I never had an issue with how it looked. I had an issue with how slow it was.
Sure. Yeah.
Like, I never had a pacing issue like that in a Telltale game, but in that one of the slowest games I've ever played. And it got to the point where even though I could see the end in sight, I was like, I don't know if I can do this anymore. Like, this is like grinding my fingernails on a chalkboard. Like, this is bad. This is so bad. But again,
like I said, there were times where it's definitely, yeah, I agree with everything you said, Mo. It's definitely like, it could have been sped up just a tick. And not taking as long. I think a half step would have gone a long way. So even outside of that, I really like that. I didn't really, this might even go back to in terms of like the agenda. Agenda is the right word. That's the word I was looking for. I didn't really acclimate to Marcus's character much at all. It seemed very like tropey. He's just the freedom fighter, like fighting the power. He's just the the rebelliousness. Kara, I liked until the end. Kara was like the one I was probably most invested into, and I was really upset with the payoff. My payoff, the payoff that I got with her. I was just like, that is not where I want, there was a twist, and it's just, I didn't think it was a good one. It's not really where I wanted it to end. So between that, it was a really cool game. I really liked it. I thought it was really cool that Minka Kelly was a voice actor. I had no idea.
Yeah.
I started hearing, I was like, wait a minute, I know that voice. I've seen Friday Night Lights. I know that. That was really cool. Really great voice acting. And, like the motion capture, several of the actors in that game, spot on. I mean, they look great, like really good voice acting. So in that regards, I really like the game. I think it's a good game. I think it's a great game. Wouldn't have cracked my best games of the year. But I really liked it. It was good. I'm really happy that you let me borrow it. I'm really happy that I gave it the old run through, and I played it. I beat it in a week. I went right through it. So,
all right. I think we're ready to actually start the show now, everybody. So Nathan did some new voiceovers for us, one of which you're about to hear right now, because it's time to check out the news of the week.
I'm Commander Shepard, and this is my favorite news outlet on the Citadel.
So it's almost January, so that means we have a new lineup for PlayStation Plus and for Games with Gold. Kicking off PlayStation's January lineup, we are getting on PS4, we're getting Steep and we're getting Portal Knights. On PS3, you're getting Zone of Enders HD Collection and Amplitude if you're still rocking that PS3. And then on Vita, you're getting Fallen Legion, Flames of Rebellion, which is also cross-buy with PS4, and Super Mutant Alien Assault. So I will say Portal Knights looks pretty fun. That's a game I'll definitely give a run through and give it a shot. And Steep, actually, I love snowboarding games. So I'm willing to give this a shot because I'm not paying for it. Other than my PlayStation Plus subscription. So I'm a little excited at this lineup here. And it's both games I will give it a shot. So for me.
As Kevin's game share buddy, I can 100% attribute that he will download anything that you give him access to. And it's driving my library nuts.
Steep is solid though. I loved it at launch, so I'm really hoping more people play it because the online component is what makes it fun.
Oh, cool.
So when you don't have people on the map, it gets really, really tedious.
Okay. And on the Xbox side, then, we are getting some interesting selections here. We're getting Celeste, which will be available from January 1st to the 31st. We're getting Lara Croft, which is this one. It's a weird one.
Isn't it Temple of Osiris?
I was going to say, is it the Temple of Osiris?
Guardian of Light. Sorry.
Oh, so that's the one
sequel.
before it? Or sequel?
I think it's a sequel, right?
I'm not sure which one.
I don't know. We're getting the Tomb
cool.
Raider game.
Those are decent.
And Far Cry 2 is available, as well as WRC World Rally Championship is available as well there too. So for me, nothing I'm really too interested in. I'll give Celeste a try now because I've stayed away from it on the Switch because I know I'm going to get frustrated and throw things. So maybe I'll stream that game so people can watch me get angry. And I might give Far Cry 2 a shot, even though I'm not super...
Is that the remaster one that you have?
No. That's Far Cry 3. Far Cry 2 is before they got good. Far Cry 3 was the first good one, really. So
because I loved...
you get malaria and you need to keep taking injections or something as you go on.
Because I loved 3 so much, and then I loved 4, and then I really loved Primal, I went back to play Far Cry 2 when it first hit back compat.
Yeah.
Does not hold up. It is atrocious. I'm telling people now, just stay away. I think Sean told a story that I could relate to where, your guy gets sick, and if you don't find the guy in time, you will die and lose all the things you've done. It's run away. Run far away.
So I guess I'll just try Celeste, and that's about it. Nathan, any of these something you're going to dive into?
Celeste I've heard about, but I'm probably not going to play that. Or I might check out the World Rally Championship. I like racing games. I try them all out when I see them and when I have them. But as far as that goes, I'm not jumping out of my seat for any game on either side, this month. But it's one of those things where I have enough to play anyway, and I've got so many games that I'll probably never even touch that I've gotten from Games with Gold and PS Now, or not PS Now, PS Plus. So it's it's one of those things where the lineup is cool. We're getting continually fed good games, and maybe one day I'll be an old man in my rocking chair and say, "What's this game?" And try it. But until then, I'm good right now.
Yeah, it's odd to me because so you think of how many PS4s and Xbox Ones were sold during the holiday season, and now it's like, hey, here's your first full month of games available on PS Plus and Games of Gold, and this is the lineup we introduced, which is like, it's all right. Like, you figure they give you at least one banger on each console. You're like, yeah, let's go.
The first time I ever played Uncharted was the game that gave it away in PlayStation Plus. I never would have ever tried any of those games if it wasn't for that game. And I feel like this gen, largely, we haven't had a whole lot of that. For whatever reason, maybe it doesn't make sense financially. I don't know. But both companies like this just don't seem to be letting a lot of those first party stuff go. I mean, Xbox got the Game Pass now.
Yeah.
So that makes sense now why they're not. But, man, it really just, I'm not. So anyway, on the news story, I'm not going to play any of those games. I'll be 100% honest with you. Celeste gives me like Super Meat Boy vibes.
Yeah.
Which
better.
That's what Jason says. I'm interested to hear Kevin's thoughts. Cause I think Kevin and me in terms of platforming seem to jive a little better.
Yeah.
But yeah, it definitely gives me Meat Boy thoughts. But, all the other ones I'm not going to play. I will tell you though, that Game Pass has Ori and the Blind Forest, the definitive edition. It's got Life is Strange. It's got Life is Strange Before the Storm. It's got Hellblade, which you already mentioned. All of those came out. Pro Evolution Soccer hit below. So, man, I love those games. I'm going to replay some Ori, which is another hard platformer. I think Ori's better than Celeste. I think if Ori was on Switch, a lot of Switch people would agree with me.
And you've already downloaded it on my Xbox for me, so I can try Ori finally.
I think Ori's prettier. I would agree with that. I don't
Ori's
know.
really good.
Better. The platforming on Celeste is some of the cleanest that I've ever felt, like ever.
Did you make it out of the World Tree?
I did.
Because that's a really good run too in terms of platforming.
That one in Dead Cells, I've gotten pretty far in Dead Cells, and I know they're a different style, but they're both similar difficulty. Like they're intense.
They are. And both of those, I would agree with that. They are both pretty intense, pretty stout. Ori's more in that Hollow Knight realm in terms of platforming. You can it's more environmental, whereas Hollow Knight has like the hard difficulty, and then Ori has these runs that you have to make that get really difficult later in the game. I never beat it the first time. I love Ori. Ori's amazing.
Can we stop and just acknowledge how pretty Hollow Knight is? Like as you get into that game, like I with my Elite controller and my Astros on, and I sit there, and that's one of those games where I actually have to pause for a minute because there's so much going on sound-wise that I just want to take it all in. Like they did such a good job on that game. I don't talk about it a lot because I don't talk about the games that I played like in passing.
Yeah,
like I've maybe only put 15 hours in that game. You know what I mean? I put more time into Madden the last 2 days than I did in that game. So,
I do want to say,
game.
As of recording right now, we don't have it, but it'll probably be announced by the time that this podcast comes out. The additions for your Game Pass in January.
Yeah, I was going to say that.
Yeah, Mike Ibarra, he sent out a tweet today and said that they're amazing. So,
okay, good. I was about to make note that, unlike when we normally hit this, we normally have those announcements and they're not out yet for Game Pass for January. So I'm looking forward to that. And I really think Xbox's focus really is now on Game Pass over games with gold anyway, which is perfectly fine. I get it. The better offerings are almost always on Game Pass.
To get a little into our little Empire side of the house, I think games with gold should really focus on ID at Xbox stuff. It should be I would almost say exclusively indie games. Just all the indie things that you can throw into games with gold as possible, and get people used to Way Forward, get them used to different indie developers, bring that out, and then use Game Pass to kind of peddle their wares. But if you give me, before we move on, I just want to say, give me a minute to pump My Life is Strange stuff. I love it. I was so surprised that this came out. I'm so happy that they're there. I can only plead to you guys to play it. I personally like Before the Storm more than Life is Strange 1. So if you play Life is Strange 1, if you find it a little annoying, because I think it's a little annoying, don't give up on the series. Play Before the Storm. Because Before the Storm is more grounded. It's not nearly as sci-fi as the first one. And for that reason, if you like The Walking Dead, that's why I got into Before the Storm. So I was really, really excited that both of those got announced. It came back-to-back days, so it was hilarious. The first one came out, and Josh was like, "Oh, I'm going to try it." And I was like, "Well, I like Before the Storm better." And it's next day, I was like, "Oh, Josh, you're in luck. Here comes the next one." So really, really exciting.
Before the Storm is one of those games that after you play probably the first 2 chapters, you can't stop. And that's what hurt me with that franchise, is that after I played those, I was like, "Yes, let's go, next one." And then
dude, the ending for Before the Storm, it's gut wrenching, but kind of in it's in a good, real way. I think anybody that's been through life, you're going to reach the ending and you're going to go, I remember a time when I was like that. I remember a time when a friend of mine was like that. Cause it's real. And that's the thing that I didn't get with Life is Strange 1. Life is Strange Before the Storm is real. It really hits you in the feels.
It's fire.
It's good.
And before we completely leave off the Game Pass train, I did play PUBG recently, which was added to Game Pass as well. Kevin, there's a lot of fresh meat out there.
Oh yeah, I played it. I've been playing. I've hopped on a few times. So
there's a lot more user population out there, which is kind of good for the game. Just kind of give it some more life. And secondly, for anybody that's watching the stream and sees Kevin right now, I just keep getting these vibes of Bane from The Dark Knight Rises, when he's behind the pop filter,
all punishment must be more severe.
Yeah, what a lovely singing voice.
I don't know why we didn't talk about Noobness
about
at the beginning, because Noobness is one of the best times of year. I've gotten more Blackout wins in the last 2 nights than I did the last month.
I am jonesing for Blackout too now. It's I'm not so many battle royale. I just keep jumping around.
10 wins, and it's all because of these noobs who are jumping in yes, thank you for the easy kill. I'll take your gear. Have a good day.
I'm still over here fighting my good fight, my hill to die on that nobody's on. Everybody's left my hill. We don't need campaigns. We don't need campaigns in games anymore. This is fine, Donnie. Shut up.
Hey, Battlefield's campaign is great. I love it. I love the stories in there.
I still want campaigns.
Thank you, Nathan.
I still want campaigns, but there are mini campaigns in there. And just pointed out, they're really, really good and fun.
I remember when Mo was with me.
Dude, I was with you, and then I was like,
Then I got blackout.
well, no, okay. If I wouldn't have bought, this would have been the first non-clutch edition of Call of Duty I'd ever gotten, and I just couldn't not go get it. Like it just felt wrong. So like, this is what 10 years now.
Yeah.
More than that, 12 years.
I get it. It hurts that I'm not playing zombies. I agree. Zombies looks cool, but I drew my line in the sand. I'm gonna stick with it.
For now, wait till a good sale. The dime.
Yeah, wait till it gets
Yeah, exactly.
like $10.
All right, so because I'm not mad enough tonight, guys, we're going to talk about my favorite Twitch streamer, Ninja.
Really?
Yep,
Who?
Ninja.
Yeah.
Oh,
really
that's the real gamer is what I was told.
Sure.
That's what a real gamer looks like. Because
Yeah.
if you just play sports games, you don't count. Evidently, is what I found out.
I will consider sports gamers a real gamer over Ninja any day.
Dude,
of the week,
that's from the lips of someone who was in this house today. It's like, oh, you wouldn't think you'd be like that Ninja guy. I'm like, I'm not. I play Madden and FIFA and 2K.
Anyway, so popular Fortnite streamer Tyler Ninja Belvins is hosting a New Year's Eve special on Twitch next week, and Twitch is pumping the heck out of this thing. So here's the issue. Other content creators are having ads running during their Twitch streams advertising Ninja's stream on Twitch. So while some in air quotes, basically a few, see them as a good thing, others say it's very wrong for Twitch to promote a competitor on their channels without their permission. And the ads will draw away from any attention they may have on their own New Year's Eve events. My actual favorite Twitch streamer, sorry, Caroline, not you, Dr. Disrespect, apparently is the biggest champion calling this one out here. He actually tweeted at Twitch, get these ugly looking New Year's Eve ad rolls off my page and don't ever do it again, ever. So he's going toe to toe with this, but a lot of people are really irritated by this because, obviously you're promoting this huge guy, but you're doing it on Twitch. Well, you're advertising Twitch on Twitch. Number one, doesn't make any sense because if you're watching Twitch, you know what Twitch is. So if these ads are running somewhere else, like on YouTube or, on, Amazon Prime or something like that during the commercial campaigns or Hulu, even something like that would make more sense. Here's my beef. And this article doesn't have this. Before Ninja kind of went through his whole rebranding of him being a good guy and a nice guy, not swearing and not flipping out on streams, because he used to throw tantrums or he'd like throw his chair and his desk and stuff like that after being killed in Fortnite, which is a little out of control. But anyway, he went on a major rant because people would give him, donations as they do on Twitch, like, hey, here's $20. And they would be like, hey, by the way, my band has a new single out. You should check it out. It's called blah, 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 blah. Well, there's this Twitch stream that he has deleted, but the internet, of course, remembers all, where he belittles and berates this person saying, who the hell do you think you are promoting your stuff on my channel? Just because you gave me $20, you think you have the right to do this and that, blah, 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 blah. And here he is doing the same thing to every other small Twitch streamer out there, and being endorsed by Twitch to do so. So, yeah, once again, Ninja's kind of just being a jerk. And you might say, okay, well, it's Twitch. Twitch is going to be the one that's their fault. It's not Ninja's fault. I would agree with you. Until Ninja opened his mouth about this, which he probably shouldn't have. And his response was, this event is going to be broadcasted to millions of people and continue to grant exposure to Twitch, which in turn allows other streamers to gain more viewers. What's not to like? Or is it just because it's me? So he doesn't understand the point why people are frustrated that we're advertising another Twitch streamer, regardless of who it is. He just feels the need to bring it back to him again, taking away everybody else from Twitch. So I'm interested to hear your guys' thoughts. Saying I've ranted on this for a little bit here too. Is this once again Ninja being immature, like he was the whole I won't stream with females type thing?
My only issue is, so I streamed yesterday for like 30 minutes. And what I did during it is because I'm really crappy at talking during those things. I get super nervous. My anxiety pops up. It gets really awkward. So I asked and I was like, hey, I'm going to play the Xbox Drive. And Luke's like, sure, I'll listen to it with you. And so I listened to it and I commented about some cool things they were saying. But I talked about another podcast and basically I was promoting them on something I was doing. That I'm okay with because you're like sharing something else. But if I was the guy, hey, I'm going to put PSVG OT in the front of your stuff while you're streaming and you're not signed up for it, that's not fair. Like that's not what we're looking for. That's not, you know what I mean? I feel like that's like having a commercial forced on you. Like someone put ad space on your show without your permission. You know what I mean?
But here's the thing. They're Twitch affiliates, right? They have signed up to have ads placed on their screen or on their stream at the discretion of Twitch. whatever sponsors are giving them the money. Ninja paid the money. So
No.
they get the ad.
Ninja didn't pay the money. This is
Oh,
a
he didn't?
Twitch-sponsored event. This is Twitch advertising Ninja stream. So this is, yeah.
I tip my hat to you, good sir, and I recant my statement.
Yeah, the biggest thing is like a lot of people were tweeting out too as well is like, hey, the event's on Ninja's channel. It's not just Twitch's channel, even though Twitch is the one sponsoring this event. But there are tons of people, and I think, Donnie knows what this was like, and Jason knows, and Caroline knows especially, to get to that affiliate status period is really tough. A lot of people watching. So there's Twitch streamers who really, really fight to get all of maybe 10 peoples to watch their streams and to follow them, subscribe, not even necessarily pay them money or tip money. I'm not even talking about that. I'm talking about just getting exposure for doing something you enjoy and wanting to share that experience with other people. Like Coach said, like, hey, I want more people to see Luke Lore. I want to, push that guy, and that makes sense. But here you have somebody who maybe has like 50 followers, all of a sudden getting Ninja advertisements on their page, and somebody else watching their stream might be like, why am I watching this chump? I'm going to go watch this guy. This guy's a pro. And he's got Twitch backing him. And that's taken away from these people who are actually trying to do something with it. And yes, Ninja got where he is by being, air quotes, talented, I guess. But people like him. People follow him. I'm not taking that away from him. But he's in the same regards for trying to be the face and the person to kind of grow this medium. He's stomping out everybody else below him, and he doesn't see a problem with it. And that's where my gripe is. Any thoughts at all, Donnie? You've been really quiet. And you're muted, apparently.
Yeah. Sorry. Shows how much I care about this topic. I'm growing rather loathsome of the gamer drama, the gamer boy drama that all of this stuff happens to have. The competitiveness with clicks and streams and subs, and the gamification of being popular is something that I basically spend no time dealing with. And that's all this is. I have no issues with Twitch using their platform to promote their platform. It's Twitch's platform. Guess what? They own it. They want to spotlight one of their most popular streamers on anybody's channel. You may not like it. Don't stream on Twitch. It's pretty simple. If you don't like it, go to YouTube. It's not like you don't have an option. And if
or
Twitch,
Mixer.
it's
I was about to say Mixer.
Mixer. I get what you're saying, right? In a purely fair, right, just world, you have a claim. But as all of our mothers told us, life isn't fair. It's Twitch's platform. They built it. They own it. Do whatever they want with it. You don't like it, don't use it. That sounds cold and cruel, and it's not necessarily the world we all want to live in. We want to live in a better place, but it's like, how often does this get done in advertising and marketing and every other venue, and TV and Netflix? I hate that Netflix puts their stuff on my list every time I open up Netflix app. I can not subscribe to Netflix, or I can just click through it. Now, to just trivialize, not to demean your point at all, Kevin, just to trivialize how much I care, Nintendo Shack streams live on Twitch every week. We were there last night. I have no idea and have seen none of these ads. So, dude, shows how much I care. I wouldn't, it doesn't bother me. Okay. But whatever.
Fair enough. Moving on then. Resident Evil 2 news.
Ooh, yes.
Yay.
And the Resident Evil 2 remake.
Remake 2!
I know, right? Leon's backstory has been cleaned up. So the remake's official Japanese Twitter account tweeted out the character's backstory for the Resident Evil 2 remake. It is very interesting, guys. It reads, as I brush up my Japanese so I can translate it for you guys. New officer Leon S. Kennedy was assigned to Raccoon City. Before going on duty, Kennedy was at home on standby waiting for his orders. After no one contacted him and feeling something was off, Kennedy headed to the station. Days later, after arriving in Raccoon City, his life has changed. That's it. That's your backstory.
It's something. Hey.
Backstory ever.
Well, actually, so here's the interesting thing.
Did they not steal that from Walking Dead? Isn't that?
I was going to say, a lot of public safety folks self-dispatch. So that's it's in line with realism.
Plus, if this is just weird. So he was at home on standby waiting for his orders. No one contacted him, and it took him days to get to Raccoon City. Where was he?
Yeah, how far is his home?
Yeah.
And
you didn't know what was going on?
Do we just get to surf the channels of him at home? That'd be sweet. I would totally dig that. 10 minutes of you just clicking, checking the voice messages, nothing going on. Just bachelor life. He's just bored.
Right.
So, maybe a Lebowski robe.
Oh, God.
Oh, yes.
Russian
too. Good. This is good stuff.
And he grows a beard the longer you're in there. Because you determine how long he stays in the apartment.
Yes.
The dishes pile up, and there's, little, what do you call them? The little pizza things, pizza rolls, little Totino pizza roll boxes are all over the place.
This is good. This is solid.
But here's the hang up though. So everyone's like, oh, you have Leon's backstory, even though it's adult, it's cool they have a backstory. Well, do you guys know he had a backstory already? And it was in the game guide for Resident Evil 2, which probably nobody remembers at this point. But so here's what it originally was. And this is much better, and I'm wondering why they changed it. Having recently broken up with his girlfriend, Leon stopped on his journey to Raccoon City by staying in a motel overnight, then oversleeping from drunkenness a day late to show up for duty.
We need to play this backstory. There needs to be like a prologue.
Yeah. He rushed back onto the road where he wasn't able to telephone to the station, and then he goes to Raccoon City. So he broke up with his girl, was so distraught he goes on a bender, ends up in a shady motel drunk out of his mind, and misses an entire day of work. That is way better than, I'm sitting at home. I wonder what's going on at the station.
He's too pretty for all that.
If they let us play this would become the second best prologue of all time.
What would be the first one?
NBA 2K19.
Okay. Oh, that's true. I should have known.
Game of the year.
Yeah. Clock Tower.
But, so yeah. That's just some food for thought there.
So how about this, Kevin? How excited are you to play Remake?
I'm excited because this looks so good. And after playing Resident Evil 7, it's so good.
They've remade everything. Do you see, like, you blow off zombies' arms and stuff?
Oh, yeah.
Dude, yes. Yep. This looks incredible.
They basically took the 7 touch and just went back and said, okay, we're revamping this from the ground up all over again.
If this wasn't a Fire Emblem year, in all seriousness, I'm not joking. Like, probably my most anticipated title of the year, and it's like 3 weeks away. I'm so excited for Remake. It looks so amazing. Now watch it like just bomb and
bomb. No, a lot of people that have seen it and gotten their hands on it, like a little bit, said it's really, really good. So, like I said, if it's even just as good as Resident Evil 7 was, I'm gonna be perfectly happy with that. Like, it was great. It was great. I want to go back and play 7. I just have too much to play.
I'm staying away because when it comes out, I want to experience it for the first time. I never played the original, and so like this is my first.
You're in for a treat then. Okay.
But what I'm nervous about is one of the guys who was over playing games with today that we were talking about it. I guess in the olden ones, it wasn't a first person view. It was like top down.
Yep.
Third person.
Over the shoulder.
Just like all the other Resident Evil games up until 7.
Over the shoulder shooter.
So is this going to be over the shoulder or is it going to be first person?
What I've seen is over the shoulder.
Okay.
Kevin, have you seen anything else? I mean, what I've seen is over the shoulder.
I don't think I've seen any first person.
I was going to say, like you, Mo, I mean, because I've played it, I'm not staying away from it to not be spoiled. They're redoing a lot. This isn't like just a standard remake. It's like a reimagining. I mean, it's redone. Like, this is all being redone. So I'm staying away to not be spoiled over the newness.
Yeah, if there's any story changes or anything like that.
Yeah. So I've only seen like the E3 trailer, which was one of the best E3 trailers I've ever seen, and then like very light preview stuff. But everything I've seen is over the shoulder. Maybe there's a first person option.
Okay, because I have that one is pre-ordered for me to pick up day one.
There you go.
So
there you go. So last story I want to talk about, because I have Coach Mo here with me to back me up a little bit on here. It's Fallout 76 related, as he's the only other person here that has, number one, played it, and number two, doesn't hate it entirely. So I love it.
Other people playing in the entire world, according to the Twitter, right?
That's
it's just you two. It's like you and Mo's private server.
That'd be awesome, actually, if I could play a Mo's private server.
People that I played with, so
I'm just messing with you guys.
Well, I mean, hey, let's be honest. Bethesda has been having so many bad news articles. Like, they've just seemed to be doing nothing right now as far as PR wise. Like, you can't argue that. If you enjoy Fallout 76, it's one thing. PR wise, they've done terrible with everything. Number one, the one good thing they did this week was, actually last week, they announced that, hey, if you've played Fallout 76, I think up until New Year's Day, on any console or PC, you're going to get access to all the original Fallout games on PC. So they can send out codes to get all those. That's cool. You get Fallout 1, Fallout 2, and then Fallout Tactics or something like that.
That's
nice.
Pretty cool.
That's pretty cool. But this story I found interesting. So on PC, obviously, a big problem is with hackers, and we're seeing it already with Blackout. There's a lot of people on PC playing Blackout mode using all sorts of hacks. It's absolutely ridiculous. I watched some Twitch streamers play the other day, and they played 5 matches, 4 of which they got killed almost like within the first couple minutes by clearly hackers that were like shooting like through walls. They watched like the kill cam afterwards. So Coach knows what I'm talking about. Here, you can rewatch who the person who kills you. And it's like this person would have no idea that they were there. Like, it was physically impossible unless they were using some sort of cheat module. So this happens, of course, in Fallout 76, as it does with all games. So Bethesda has been trying to contain that and banning people when appropriate, and they have done so, and that happens. Well, they sent out their appeal process for this. So if somebody wants to dispute this and appeal, they need to, if you would like to appeal this account closure, we would be willing to accept an essay on why the use of third-party cheat software is detrimental to an online game community for our management team to review.
Dude, I love this. It's like the revenge of the third grade teacher. This is amazing.
Awesome. So Bethesda's trying to say, like, hey, if you want to try and overturn this, we want like a 12-page essay, and we still may not do it, but we want our managers to be able to review it.
You need a thesis, 3 supporting paragraphs, and a conclusion.
So Bethesda hasn't commented on this yet, but these emails have gone out to people, and it like one person first and now like leaked it on Reddit, and then multiple people sent their copies of the emails as well. So it is out there. Bethesda hasn't commented yet. I'm with you where I think this is absolutely ingenious, but of course the people who got those were like, I was banned unfairly, which I'm like, I don't believe that. Like, don't give me that nonsense. So, despite that, I think this is the best PR move they've done in quite some time. This is just say, you need to tell us why cheating is bad for an online community game. But yeah,
I would love it if they added like a comprehensive math quiz that they have to pass too without using a calculator or anything. And so then they can say, see, you had to use it eventually.
to prove you're not a bot, solve this math problem. So I just thought that was good fun there and some lighthearted way to end this show here, I think, for that bad news, the bad string of PR stuff Bethesda's been doing. So before we go, guys, let's do some quick plugs here. Nathan, where can people find you?
Oh, they can find me over on Twitter at Voiced by Nathan. I'm also on Xbox and all the other game platforms as Spider Jedi. If you'd like to play anything, let me know. Hit me up. Be happy to do so. Also, breathing some life back into That's Entertaining. There's a new episode that we just put out there as actually me and another person on this episode tonight. We got together and talked Aquaman. So that's out the feed. You can check that out now.
We did.
So go ahead and check that out. It's all good fun. But also, if you are a Patreon supporter of PSVG, you'll be getting a little something from me the first week of the year. So maybe that's cool. Maybe it's not. I don't know. Let me know.
Nathan just totally pulled a ninja on us and promoted his product on our channel. I'm just kidding. I'm totally okay with that. Yeah, I know. That was the whole point of this. Coach, where can people find you and anything you'd like to plug, good sir?
You can find me at PSVGOT. It's part of the PSVG family, and we tell stories. It's me and Dev, and it's a good time. The big article that I spent the last year working on, I emailed to Donnie. I think it was yesterday or Wednesday, I believe. So he's going to put that up. It's a lot. If you read it, please I don't need you to tell me if you liked it or not. Just say, hey, I read it. And I'm going to go, man, props to you. Cause it's a mouthful. It is a lot. And I'm very grateful that I got to finish it. And I'm very grateful that Donnie's going to use it. So check that out. And if you, again, please don't tell me if you like it or not. My self-esteem probably couldn't handle it. Just if you read it, just, hey, yeah, I read it. And I'm like, thank you. That's all I need. So that's all for me.
Coach is easy to please. Donnie, sir, anything you'd like to plug before we set off into the dark night?
By the time you're listening to this, head over to patreon.com/PSVG. And if you like it and all the other things that are there, that article will be public so you can read that. Throw us a buck. Subscribe to us. We've got a mailing list, monthly giveaways. This month's giveaway is coming to you live from the Board with Video Game crew. PSVG OT. You guys are up next month, so get ready for that. But yeah, super fun. We've got these community game nights, all this stuff we're trying to do. I'm having a lot of fun with it. I think everybody else on the staff is too. And even $1 gets you into the PSVG Battle Pass Discord channel, strictly for our Patreons, which is really fun, really cool. We drop little notes in there throughout the day. And that's where we ask all of the PSVG DLC stuff, which goes live this weekend. Our very first episode, PSVG DLC, our patron exclusive podcast show. So that's it. Everybody gets it. Just $1. So I'll just leave my plugs there.
There you go. Sounds good. So thank you everybody for tuning in. Thank you for hopefully telling a friend. Hit us up on iTunes. Give us some reviews. iTunes did a sweep for some reason, took away a lot of people's reviews. So if you left a review previously for PSVG, just double check it for us if you can and let us know if you need to redo it.
They hired the same folks that are doing the PSN name changes. That's what's going on over there.
So anyway, thank you as always, everybody, for listening, telling a friend. We appreciate you lending us your ear. But more importantly, above all that, we ask as always that you never stop gaming.
This has been a PSVG production. Any music, sound effects, or the like is owned by their respective copyright holders. No infringement is intended. The views expressed in this production are those of the individual contributor and may not necessarily reflect PSVG. This production may not be repurposed, reused, or redistributed without the express written consent of PSVG. PSVG is powered by patrons at patreon.com/PSVG. Become a patron to get special perks, including access to exclusive content.